Jennifer, thanks so much. Weather's looking really nice, and it's also time for our real estate roundup today. This week, we're talking about mistakes that people make and how to avoid what you need to avoid when you're house hunting. David Mills is here this morning from Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate to tell us what some of the most common mistakes are that people make. Oh my goodness, there's a whole bunch of them as well.
There is, there really is. This is a great subject to talk about. You know, there's like 10 of the top mistakes that people make when they're buying a property.
Okay.
When we look at the first one, I think that if we, the first one is not establishing a budget.
Okay, and you would think this is like the first thing that people do,
Yes.
decide how much house can I afford to buy,
Yes.
but that's not the case.
It's not always the case.
Okay.
So it's important that you figure out how much you want to spend on the down payment
Okay.
and how much you want to spend as far as, because you're going to have to spend money on inspections and so forth.
Sure.
So budget those type of things aside so you'll know.
And David, we were talking about, you know, sometimes even if you qualify for $500,000 home, doesn't
Right.
necessarily mean that you should go forward with buying that big of a home.
Exactly.
Okay.
You've got to work within the constraints of what you feel is comfortable for you and your family.
Okay.
And don't overspend. So create that budget right up front.
Okay, you want to be comfortable.
Yes, and then that leads us right into number two. Number two is get pre-approved for your mortgage up front.
Oh, okay.
Because if you know that, look, I am pre-qualified for X amount of dollars, that is you should look for homes in that price range
that
or
price range.
less.
Okay.
Because that's how you make sure that you don't overspend and you don't overbuy.
Very good. And what about life changes that may happen during the whole process?
Well,
how does that play a part?
Well, that's a great question. One of the things that people do, there's a mistake that you could make is if you change careers while you're looking for a home, that could disqualify you from that pre-approval that
Really?
Yes, because many lenders want you to be on the job, in that particular job for about a year to 2 years.
Okay.
So if you change careers during that time, it would disqualify you in many cases from that mortgage.
Something not a lot of people out there
Yes.
think about.
Yes,
What's
yes,
next,
yes.
David?
Well, number 4, I guess, is not having your own experienced and qualified realtor to work with you. Going it alone is never a good idea. If you have get a realtor as a buyer's agent, you're not paying any commission to that agent. So
Okay.
let them help you with that. Even if you're buying new construction, don't feel like you don't need an agent then, because you really do, because the agent that sits across the desk as the seller's agent,
Sure.
they do not represent you,
Okay.
and you need someone to protect your interests when you're
Yeah,
purchasing
you
a
need
home.
somebody who has your back.
Exactly.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
good point there.
Absolutely.
What's next?
Well, number 5 is don't make any major purchases when you're buying a home, because that could change your debt to income ratio as well.
Got it.
If you go out and buy a new truck while you're looking to buy a home, that can change your credit situation completely and disqualify you.
Just stay still.
Stay still.
Don't do anything new.
That is the correct time to preserve and protect your credit, is when you're buying a home. Don't make any changes. Let it stay as it is.
Okay, now let's get into you found the home that you want.
Right.
You want to place an offer.
Right.
What should you be doing from that point forward?
All right.
Or not doing?
Well, before you make that offer, another mistake that some might make is to not look at the comps.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Look at comparable sold properties before making that offer.
Okay.
That way you can make an intelligent offer.
Okay.
Right. So that's important. And then of course, you make sure you have that home inspected by an independent inspector, and
Okay.
for termites, because this is the South, you
Yeah.
got to do that. Number 8 is do a final walkthrough of that property.
Got it.
Don't just assume it's all going to be there when you go in, when you get the keys at the closing office.
Sure.
Check all that. Number 9, and almost the last thing, is always get your own title insurance.
Okay.
That will
Insurance,
protect
that's a
you.
big thing.
It is. Well,
Gotta have
title
that.
insurance protects your ownership if somebody challenges your ownership of that property down the line.
Okay.
Lastly,
Last and final.
yes. When you're closing and you've got some repairs that need to be done, it's never a good idea to let those repairs linger on after the close, because typically
Oh, yeah.
you got to ask yourself the question: if they promise, well, I'll take care of that after the close,
Okay.
those repairs typically will not survive the close.
Got it.
So get it completed before you close.
That's so many great suggestions,
Yes.
David. And
Yes.
a lot of people with the warmer weather out there, they're
Yes.
excited to get out there and find that brand new home.
Yes.
So you've armed them with some great information. And if you are in the market and you're interested in learning more about the Atlanta housing market, go to the BMA page, check that out. It's at cbs46.com. We've also posted a link to David Mills' real estate website there, so you'll have all of his contact information there as well. And David, we're going to see you again soon, so thanks for coming on
Absolutely.
today.
It's good to see you.
Okay, Better
Thank
Mornings.
you.